Hello everyone. Uh, Today in this session we will discuss another topic, that is the ultimate shear resistance capacity of the PSA beams. Okay, as like in case of RCC beam, we know how to determine the moment resisting capacity of the RCC beams. Similarly, here we will be concentrating on how much is the shear resistance capacity of the PSA beams, not RCC beam. We are concentrating on the PSA beams. So, before knowing how exactly we need to determine the shear resistance capacity of the PSA beams, first of all we should understand what are the different types of possible cracks which may appear in case of the PSA beams, that is only due to the shear cracks or due to the shear force. So, there are basically two different types of cracks which can appear in the PSA beam because of the shear stresses. See, if I draw a diagram of PSA beam, and let us assume that this PSA beam, it is supported on two simple supports, and which is loaded by two concentrated load, let us say P1 and P2. So, let us say this is a reaction RA and RB. Right. Now, we all know that because of the external loading on any beam, these external loads, it produces two types of forces in the beam, that is, one is a bending moment, another one is the shear force, right. So, bending moment and shear force, they are the results of the external loading and the support conditions, right. So, now because of this external loading, as I know, there will be a development of bending moment and the shear force V, right. So, now question is, where are the possibilities of developing maximum bending moment? So, let us say in this situation I can say that the bending moment will be more somewhere at the mid span, and shear force will be maximum at the supports. It means the chances of development of the stresses due to bending moment or the bending stresses, or we call it as the flexural stresses, are more at the center, and shear stresses, as we all know, they will be greater at the ends. Now, so as it is a concrete beam, concrete has got some capacity to resist the stresses, either it may be a compressive stresses or it may be a tensile stresses. And we also know that the concrete has got high strength, or it has got more capacity to resist the compressive stresses, but concrete is very weak in resisting the tensile stresses. So, as the concrete is very weak in tensile stresses, we reinforce with the steel bars, okay, to enhance the tensile stress, tensile strength of the concrete. So, that is a different part. Now, whenever there is a increase in the load, there will be a development of the stresses, either it may be a flexural stresses or it may be a shear stresses. So, the resultant of these flexural stresses or pre-stressing force or the shear stresses, we all know that there will be development of principal stresses F max and F minimum. So, F max indicates it is the principal compressive stresses, and F minimum indicates the principal tensile stresses. So, our concrete is good enough in resisting the principal maximum, that is compressive stresses, but our concrete is weak in resisting the principal tensile stresses. So, whenever the increase in the load, there will be an increase in the development of the maximum principal tensile stresses, or the principal tensile stresses will be more. So these principal tensile stresses are responsible for the development of the cracks. And we all know that these principal tensile stresses, it depends mainly on two things. One is tau v and the direct stresses, that is Fx and Fy. So tau v, it is depends purely on the shear stress or shear force, and these it is dependent on the precessing force and also the external loading, right. So the resultant of these, they affect the development of the principal stresses. So let us assume that the increase or the principal tensile stresses in the concrete, it is more than the capacity of the concrete. So in that situation, what happens? There will be a development of cracks in the concrete or in the PSC beams. So those cracks, they are of two types. One is web shear cracks and another one is the flexural shear cracks, or you can just call it as shear cracks and flexural shear cracks. So this web shear cracks, it is usually observed at the ends. So at the supports we observe these kind of cracks which are diagonal in the nature. These are nothing but the web shear cracks. These may appear at both ends. Okay. So these are the web shear cracks. Okay. So these web shear cracks, they purely dependent on the shear stresses or the F minimum, that is the effect of the tau v and also the precessing force. But the second type of cracks, which is flexural and shear, these type of cracks, it is usually observed at the midspan, because at midspan the bending moment will be greater. So because of the bending moment, we can expect that there is a development of the flexural stresses. Okay. So these cracks, they will be usually vertical in the nature or maybe slightly diagonal, okay, or inclined. So these cracks are called as the flexure shear cracks. So these cracks, they are the resultant, or these cracks will develop because of the combined effect of shear as well as the flexure, whereas these web shear cracks, they are purely because of the shear stresses. Okay. Now we have to determine how to calculate the shear resistance capacity of the beam when the beam is undergoing cracks or beam is developing cracks only because of the shear stresses, or when the beam is developing the cracks which are the resultant of both flexure and results. Means in both the situations we need to determine how to determine the shear resistance capacity of the PSC beams. Okay. So here let me take these different failures or the cracks independently, so that we can discuss the formulas to calculate the shear resistance capacity of the PSC beams under the different cracks. So first of all, let me take the first crack, that is the failure of PSC beams or PSC pieces concrete due to web shear cracks. Means in the PSC beams, the cracks are developing only due to the shear stresses. Okay. So here we have to use a formula called as V, or it is also called as VCO VCO, which is equals to 0.67 BD, 0.67 BD under root of FT square plus 0.8 times of FCP into FT. So let me discuss what all are these things. So this is the formula to determine the ultimate shear resistance of PSC, right? So this is the standard formula given by the Indian Standard Code IS 1893, 1343. 1343, we can see this formula. So we are using this direct formula to calculate the ultimate shear resistance capacity of the PSC beam when the cracks are only due to the shear cracks. Okay. So whenever the cracks are because of the shear and as well as for the flexure, then we have the different formula. So that we will discuss later. Now here, what is B? In this formula, B, it is nothing but breadth of the member. It is breadth of the member. Then D is overall depth of the beam. So the next one, FT. So FT, it is maximum principal tensile stress. It is maximum principal tensile stress of concrete, which is found from the formula 0.24 FCK. So we know FCK is the characteristic strength of the concrete. So FT is nothing but the how much is the capacity of the concrete to resist the tensile stresses. So we know that from the code book we have the formula FT is equals to 0.24 times of the FCK, that is characteristic strength of the concrete. And the last one, FCP. So FCP is compressive stress in the concrete at centroid. Compressive stress in concrete or in the PSC beam at centroid only due to pre-stress. This is very important because in the calculations whenever we are determining the value of FCP, that is compressive strength in the concrete, we have to consider only the pre-stressing force, not the external loads or the other things. Okay. So we have to calculate how much is the compressive stress in the concrete at the centroid only due to the pre-stressing force. This is very important. So using this formula, we will be able to calculate how much is the ultimate shear resistance capacity of the PSC or the concrete when the failure is only due to the web shear cracks. Right? Okay. Now the second one, flexure shear cracks. That is when the cracks in the concrete is because of both flexural stresses as well as the shear stresses, which is usually observed at the midspan. So that in that situation we can again calculate the ultimate shear resistance capacity, ultimate shear resistance V, it is equals to VCD, I think, sorry, VCR. It is designated by VCR, which is equals to 1 minus 0.55, 1 minus 0.55 FCP divided by, sorry, FPE divided by FP. FPE divided by FP into tau C BD into tau C BD plus m naught into Vm, m naught into V by m. So this is the formula which we need to use to calculate the ultimate shear resistance capacity of the PSC when the cracks are both, that is because of the flexural stresses as well as because of the shear stresses. Now here what all are the things? So FPE. So what is FPE here? FPE is effective pre-stress after all losses. Effective pre-stress after all losses. In the second module we know how to calculate the losses in the pre-stress. So deducting after all losses, what is the effective pre-stress in the concrete after all losses, that we need to calculate. Then the next one is FP. So this is effective pre-stress after loss in steel or in cables, we can say in cables. So here what is the characteristic strength of pre-stressing cables? Characteristic strength of PSC cables, or you can say wires or the steel, whatever we use. So if you are using a PSC cables of capacity some 1200 newtons per millimeter square, so FP will be the 1200 newtons per millimeter. So we have to use the characteristic strength of the PSC steel cables. Okay. So the next one is tau C. So we all know that what is tau C? It is ultimate shear capacity of concrete. Ultimate shear capacity of concrete, which we have to take from the code book IS 1343 1980. So as per this code book we have to extract the value of tau C, right? Next one is B is breadth. B is breadth of the beam and D is the depth of the concrete. Okay. So apart from this we have two more factors. One is m naught. So what is this m naught? Okay. M naught is moment necessary to produce zero stresses in concrete at the depth given. Okay. So m naught is the pre-stress. It is a pre-stress required to produce or to neutralize. Instead of saying produce, I can say that m naught is not pre-stress, sorry, it is moment, it is moment necessary to produce zero stresses at given depth. It means if you want to neutralize the stresses, then how much moment we need to apply so that we can neutralize the all stresses. That is, we have just the entire compressive sections or the section with zero stresses. So for that also we have a standard formula, that is m naught is equals to it is 0.8 FPT into I by Y. So this is the formula to calculate the moment which is necessary to produce the zero stresses, where FPT is nothing but the stress due to pre-stress only. As like here, FCP, that is also FPT is also same, stress at the required depth, stress in the concrete at any depth or any required depth only due to the pre-stressing force. I is the moment of inertia and Y is the depth where we are interested in calculating the stresses. So apart from this, the next one is V is shear force, and M is bending moment in the concrete at any particular section. So using these two formulas, we have to calculate how much is the ultimate shear resistance capacity of the concrete in the different situation. That is, when the when the cracks are only due to the shear stresses, and in another situation when the cracks are due to both shear as well as due to the flexural stresses. Right. So based on this, we will take one simple example so that we can know how to make use of these two formulas to calculate the ultimate shear resistance capacity of the concrete. So ultimate shear resistance capacity of the concrete is nothing but how much a PSC beam can withstand the shear stresses. I will just write the problem. A PSC beam of rectangular section 300 mm into 600 mm is pre-stressed by two post-tension cables, of cross section 600 millimeter square each. That is, the cross section area of each cable is 600 millimeter square. Initially stressed to 1600 newtons per millimeter square. That is, each cable is initially stressed so that we can have a stress of 1600 newtons per millimeter square. The cables are located at an eccentricity of eccentricity of 100 millimeter. The span of the beam is 10 meter. The span of the beam span of the beam is 10 meter. If FCK is 40 newtons per millimeter square, that is the strength of the concrete is 40 newtons per millimeter square. Estimate the ultimate shear resistance of support section, for uncracked in flexure. So what it means? So this means whatever the beam they have given, which is of 10 meter long. So this beam is of different sections, and it is having some PSA beams. So they are saying that this beam, it is not cracking, or it has got good resistance under the flexure. So what it is, the beam may fail due to the shear cracks. So we have to determine how much is the shear resistance capacity of this particular beam, which is not having any cracks due to the flexure, right? So let us solve this solution. So let us note down the things. They have given the cross section of the beam, that is B is equals to 300 millimeter, and depth of the beam D is equals to 600 millimeter. Then they have given the stress, the area of the each cable, that is area of steel, it is 2 cables of 600 millimeter, that is 1200 millimeter is the cross section area of each cable, the cross section area of the total cable, or the cross section area of both the cables. Apart from that, they have given the stress in the steel, that is, let us assume it as Fs is equals to 1600 newtons per millimeter, right. So apart from this, even they have given the eccentricity of the cable as 100 millimeter. Then the span L is equals to 10 meter, right. Then FCK, that is characteristic of the concrete, is 40 newtons per millimeter square. So this much information they have given. So using this, we need to calculate the ultimate shear resistance capacity of the steel. So we don't know how much is the pre-stressing force, but they have given the stress in the steel as well as the area of the steel. So we can easily calculate the pre-stressing force. Pre-stress P is equals to, we know that it is AS into Fs. So AS, area of steel, is 1200 into the stress in the steel is 1600. This gives me a value of 192 into 10 to the power 4. 192 into 10 to the power 4 newtons, or I can say that 1920 kilonewtons. Okay, anything is okay. So now, as per the code book IS 1343, we know that as per IS 1343, the ultimate shear resistance, that is V is equals to VCO is equals to, as the beam is undergoing the failure or cracks only due to the shear stresses, we have to use the first formula, that is 0.67 B into D under root of Ft square plus 0.8 times of Fc into Ft. So this is the formula we need to use to calculate the ultimate shear resistance capacity of the given beam. Correct? So here we know B, we know D, sorry, this is capital D, overall depth of the beam. We need to calculate Ft and Fcp. These are the two things we need to work out. So what is Ft? Ft is the tensile strength of the concrete. Okay, Ft is nothing but tensile strength of the concrete, which is given by 0.24 Fck. So 0.24 times of the characteristic strength of the concrete is nothing but the tensile strength of the concrete. Or I can just write here tensile strength of the concrete, tensile strength of concrete Ft is equals to 0.24 times of the Fck. 0.24 into Fck, characteristic strength of the concrete is 40. So this gives me 1.517 newtons per millimeter square. 1.517 newtons per millimeter square is the Ft value, that is the tensile strength of the concrete. Apart from that, we need to work out how much is the Fcp, that is compressive stress at centroid of the concrete. Okay, compressive stress at centroid of concrete, that is Fcp. So here we have to be very careful, because as I said earlier also, whenever we are calculating compressive stress in the concrete, okay, compressive stress in the concrete at centroid Fcp, we have to consider only precessing force, nothing else. So that is, it is just P by A, that is precessing force into area of the concrete. So how much is the precessing force? As per our calculations, precessing force, it is 1920 kilonewtons, or it is 192 into 10 to the power 4. 192 into 10 to the power 4 newtons per millimeter square. Then the area of the concrete, it is 300 into 600. That is 300 into 600 is the area of the concrete. So this gives me a value of precessing force, or the compressive stresses in the concrete, as 10.66 newtons per millimeter square. 10.66 newtons per millimeter square is the stress in the concrete at the centroid. Okay. So using this, now we can easily calculate how much is the ultimate shear resistance. Therefore, ultimate shear resistance, that is V is equals to VCO is equals to 0.67 into B is 300 into D is 600 into under root Ft. Ft is 1.517 whole square plus 0.8 times of 1.517 into, sorry, it is 10.66 into 1.517. So this gives me V or VCO is equals to V or VCO is equals to 470.716 kilonewton. 470.716 kilonewtons is the ultimate shear resistance capacity of this particular beam. What it means? It means that if the shear force at the support section, if it is less than the 470.71 kilonewton, then there is no chances of development of shear cracks. If the forces or the shear force is greater than this value, then we can say that the support section may show some of the cracks. That is the meaning. Okay? Right. Next problem. A double T section used as bridge girder is made up of a flange 1200 millimeter wide by 150 millimeter thick. The ribs are 150 millimeter wide and 1500 millimeter deep. The section is pre-stressed by high tensile wires of area 4700 millimeter, located at 850 millimeter from soffit. The initial stress in the wire, wires is 1200 newtons per millimeter square. If FCK is 40 newtons per millimeter square, estimate the ultimate shear resistance of the support section. Okay, so this is the problem where we have a double T section. The T section is made with the flange and the ribs. The details of the flange as well as the rib is given, and the T section is pre-stressed by a pre-stressing cable which has a total area of 4700 millimeter square, and this cable is located at an eccentricity of 850 millimeter from the soffit, and the stresses in the cable is about 1200 newtons per millimeter square, and FCK value is also given. So, using all these parameters, we need to determine how much is the ultimate shear resistance capacity of the sections at the support. So, we know that at the support sections the failure or the cracks may be due to the web shear, okay, not due to the combined effect of the flexure as well as the shear stresses. So, here we need to concentrate only on the shear stresses, or the cracks or the failure may be due to the only web shear cracks. So, that is why we need to consider the formulas in accordance with that. So, solution. Now, we have a double T section. Okay, let me draw a double T section. Let us say this is the double T section. See, width of the web they have given it as, sorry, width of the flange they have mentioned it as 1200 millimeter, okay, and the thickness of the web, sorry, flange, it is about 150 millimeter, and as per the given problem, the ribs are 150 millimeter wide, means the width of each rib, it is about 150 millimeter. So, this is 150 millimeter, as well as this is also 150 millimeter. So, here the value of B, it will be 150 plus 150, it will be 300. Okay, anyway. So, apart from that, the depth of the rib, it is about 1500 millimeter, right. So, this is the depth, and they have given that the pre-stressing is done by high tensile wires, which has a area of 4700. So, we do not know how many number of wires and all those things, but all this together the total area is, it is 4700 millimeter square, and the eccentricity of these wires, it is about 850 millimeter from the soffit, that is from the bottom, it is about 850 millimeters. For this we need to work out the ultimate shear resistance capacity at the support section, right. So, what is the B here? B, or we can call it as BW, that is width of the web. So, 150 plus 150, it will be 300 millimeter. What is the overall depth? Overall depth is 150 plus 1500, 150 plus 1500. So, that is 1650 millimeter is the overall depth of the section. So, apart from this, we need many other things, like how much is the tau v, sorry, not tau v, we need the precessing force and FCP. Okay. So, before that, let us calculate what is the total area of the concrete, area of cross section, that is A is equals to. So, let me consider this web as one unit. So, 1200 into 150 plus there are two ribs. So, 2 into 150 into 1500. So, this gives me the area of concrete as 63 into 10 to the power 4 63 into 10 to the power 4 millimeter square is the total area of concrete. Okay. So apart from that, we need the pre-stressing force. How much is pre-stressing force P? P is nothing but area, cross-sectional area into the area of the stress in the steel. Cross-section area of the steel is 4700 millimeter into the stress in the steel. It is about 1200 millimeter. So this gives me a pre-stressing force of 5640 kilo newtons. Okay. So after this, next we need to determine the tensile strength of the concrete, tensile strength of the concrete, that is Ft is equals to 0.24 times of the FCK. So here the FCK value, under root of FCK, FCK. So the FCK here is 0.24 into under FCK is 40 newtons per millimeter square. So it yields about 1.51 newtons per millimeter square. Okay. Then FCP, we need FCP, that is compressive stress in concrete. Compressive stress in concrete at centroid, FCP, which is equals to pre-stressing force into area of the concrete. So pre-stressing force is 5640 into 10 to the power 3 whole divided by cross section area of the concrete, that is 64 into 10 to the power of 4, which yields about 8.95 newtons per millimeter square. Now using all these things, we have to calculate the ultimate shear resistance capacity of the concrete, that is VCO. Therefore, the ultimate shear resistance of section, support section, that is V is equals to VCO is equals to, it is 0.67 B or BW into D under root of FT square plus 0.8 times of FCP into FT. Right. So here if I substitute the values, 0.67 into BW is 300 into overall depth is 1650 into under root of Ft. As per our calculation, Ft is 1.51 square plus 0.8 into FCP is 8.95 into 1.51. So this gives me V is equals to VCO is equals to 1203 kilo newtons. So this is how we can calculate the ultimate shear resistance capacity of the double T sections. Okay.